Konnichiwa. Hello, my name is Miki and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing part 2 of my must-have makeup brushes. Now in part 2 today, I'm going to be talking about eye brushes and the eye brushes that I use, what I use them for, and how I use them on these hooded eyes. So if you guys are new here or you enjoy my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit that bell so you know when I post my videos. And my disclaimer, if you are super sensitive to profanity or if you are easily offended, this is definitely not the place for you because I'm a no-filter bitch and I have no idea what's going to come out of that mouth. So keep that in mind while you're watching. So if you guys are interested in my must-have brushes for your eyelids, then just stay tuned. Oh, you guys, today has been a long fucking day. It is like 5:30. I've got my coffee here. I know some people are probably like, why are you drinking coffee so late? But it's because I am on ladies' time and I'm in a lot of fucking pain right now. I'm pretty sure I have an ovarian cyst because whenever I do, my cramps are severe to the point where I'm normally bedridden, but I'm hopped up on pain pills, so I'm feeling okay. I'm not like super, drugged out of my mind or anything, but I am just trying to get through the day and the next couple of days because it's gonna be a long week. So enough Debbie Downer shit. We're gonna get into some of these makeup brushes. Now, if you guys watch my first part, you will know that that was all about face brushes, and today we're here to talk about eye brushes. All the brushes I'm gonna be showing you today are going to be suited for hooded eyes or minimal lid space because that's what your girl has. I have struggled with finding brushes that fit my hooded eyes. When you have hooded eyes, you have a lot less space to work with rather than if you have like a crease and a big lid space. I do not have any of that, and so it's really hard for me to find American brushes that fit the size of my eye shape because it is just really hard because a lot of the brushes here are super duper big. So the first thing I'm going to be going into is my concealer brush. Now in part 1 I mentioned the BS Mall makeup brush set, which comes with 10 brushes, and I believe the set is like $8.95, $8.99, something around that. And one of the brushes that I love from the set is this guy right here. I honestly don't know what this is called. I just know that it's an angled fluffy brush, and I like to use this to apply my concealer or my primer to my eyelids. Now in part 1 of my video, I mentioned these little guys, which are from Real Techniques, and I'm just going to blend one eye with this because in that video I mentioned that I use these to not only blend the concealer underneath my eyes, but I like to use this on my eyelids as well because I find this is not only the perfect shape, but it's also the perfect size to kind of fit in your inner corner here and just around the crevices of your eyes. I don't really have any crevices because I don't have a crease, but this just fits so nicely in my eye area. Now I'm going to go in with the BS Mall brush and I'm going to blend out this concealer here. I really like this brush because not only does it spread everything nice and evenly, but it doesn't take away any of the coverage, and it's very soft, and it also really gets in nicely into like this area here in the inner corner and up to the eyebrows. This is actually from my very first set, which my husband bought me before we moved to the States, so like 2015. So I've had this for almost 5 years and it's still going strong because I take care of it, I wash it, and I just really love BS Mall brushes. Now that we have the base set, we're going to be talking about blending brushes. Now I have an abundance of blending brushes because I'm going to start from higher end to lower end. Now the first two brushes I'm going to show you guys are from Sigma. Now these are blending brushes. I have the E35 and the E38. Now the E35 is the one with the white bristles here, and I love this for transition shades. These kind of brushes are just really nice because they take up my entire lid and hood area, so I love this for transition shades. Also the E38, which is the diffused crease brush, it's this guy right here with the black bristles. Now this, even though it says diffused crease brush, I don't have a crease. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but whenever a brush is named something, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to use it for that purpose. Now I'm only going to use one brush to show you how I use it because these essentially do the same thing. Also, these both retail for $17, so they are a little bit more on the pricier end, but again, Sigma brushes are like top quality to me. Also, they're cruelty free. They don't use any kind of animal hair in their brushes, and I absolutely love that. So today I'm just going to be using my Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette because I feel like this is going to be a good palette to showcase what I'm showing you guys and how I use these brushes and what I use them for. This brush, again, I use for all over my lid, so I like it for the first initial shade that I lay down. and this just diffuses everything so nicely. It blends seamlessly, and it doesn't leave any weird crease marks or any kind of bunches of pigment. What I mean by that is when you initially lay the eyeshadow down, if your brush is too dense, it's gonna leave all the pigment in one area. It's gonna be really hard to blend. So that's why I really like these more fluffier brushes, because they just do such an amazing job with blending. There's really not much I can say about Sigma except that their brushes are just really high quality, very, very nice. And honestly, I do think that they're worth the price to invest in because they last a very, very long time. Again, like I mentioned in part 1, all your brushes can last a very long time. You just really have to take care of them. Now, I normally don't use these brushes for anything else but the transition shade. Also, I use these for whenever I do like a blend up. When I say blend up, I mean like if I add a darker shade over this and I want to blend them two together, I usually take this brush with nothing on it and just kind of blend in the two colors so they have a nice gradient and they blend into each other. The next brush I'm going to show you is exactly like the Sigma brushes. This is the Luxe Tapered Blending 229. Now this retails for $15, not on sale, but Luxe does have sales every now and then, so you can always, you know, look for their sales and get their brushes during that time. That is when I acquire all my brushes, is during a sale, because I am a cheap bitch. I like to not pay anything full price, and so I got this on sale for I think half off, so it brought it down to about $7.50, and I really, really love this brush because it is a little bit more of a cheaper option than the Sigma. It's only a couple dollars cheaper if you pay full price, but I still love it because Luxe brushes are very high quality. They're almost just like Sigma, and I just love how soft they are. They blend amazingly, and they're really, really pretty, nice, high quality brushes. I just love them so much. Now I'm going to show you some more affordable options, and I'm going to show you the blend on this eye here. The first brush I have is from Sonia Kashuk. This is the Blending Crease brush. Now this retails for $6, and you can only find this at Target. Sonia Kashuk is, I think, exclusive to Target because I haven't been able to find them anywhere else, but I absolutely love their brushes. They have so many style of brushes and so many different designs. By design, I mean like the handle and the ferrule, the colors of the brushes, the shapes of the brushes. Also, the price range varies anywhere from like $3 to like $30 brushes. So you can find a lot from Sonia Kashuk. It's just a lot of her brushes are a little too big for my eyes, but this one I found has been perfect. I love this for the same reason that I love the Sigma brushes. This is exactly the same. It blends beautifully. It doesn't leave any like weird patchiness with the pigment, and I just love this brush so much. I think Sonia Kashuk has to be one of like the best drugstore options for single brushes, because if you go into Target and your Target's like one of those bigger Targets, you will find like in the makeup section where the Sonia Kashuk display is, you can go and look at all her brushes. You can touch them and feel them and see like the size and shape of them before you buy them, and I really, really like that because then I can gauge if that eyeshadow brush or face brush is going to be good for what I'm going to use it for. Whenever you order a brush online, it's very, very hard to tell the size and the shape because you can't touch it, you can't really see it in person. So that was the Sonia Kashuk brush. Now I'm going to show you two more affordable options. The first one is the Carity E30 brush. Now this retails for $4, and it is a small tapered blending brush. This essentially does the same thing as the Sigma, the Luxe, and the Sonia Kashuk brush. I love this because it's very, very soft. It's very affordable. It's $4 fucking dollars. So $4 for a blending brush to me is very, very affordable, and I love this because again, it just does the same exact thing as all the other brushes that I just showed you, except it's a more affordable option. I love this because it blends seamlessly and does everything else that the brushes I just mentioned do. The last blending brush I'm going to mention is from BH Cosmetics. In part 1 of my video, I mentioned that I bought a BH Cosmetics Crystal Quartz 12-piece brush set. That was my first brush set that I ever bought, and I love it so much. Not only are there great face brushes in there, but there are great eye brushes. The set itself costs $29. It comes with 12 brushes and a really, really cute holographic pouch to keep your brushes in. But BH Cosmetics is known for their sales, so always wait for a sale before you buy anything from BH Cosmetics, because if it's not on sale one week, it's gonna be on sale the next week. So this brush is the number 7 brush, and this is the domed blending brush. The bristles are a lot shorter. When they're longer like this one, they tend to get a little bit more flimsy and they spread out further because the bristles are a lot longer, and so you're gonna get a higher blend. Like this guy over here, this has a more higher blend than this eye, but if I were to use this brush over here, I would probably get the same height of blend. This brush, I really like to go in after some of the Sigma brushes that I showed you guys just now and really just darken up the transition shade with this. Because this particular brush has shorter bristles and a little bit more bristles than the other ones, this is going to give you a lot more pigment when you initially lay the eyeshadow down, as opposed to the other ones that blend it out to a more sheer coverage eyeshadow. So these are all my blending brushes. I know it's a lot, but again, I want to give you guys options from anywhere from higher end to more affordable, because again, not everybody can afford a $17 eye brush like the Sigma ones. Also, they always have like codes and stuff that you can use that people have. I personally don't have a code with Sigma, so I can't help you out there, but I just love these brushes so much. And right here, you have like so many freaking options. You literally have 6 options right here to choose from. So if you have hooded eyes, definitely check these brushes out. Now we're gonna get into some shading brushes. Now, shading brushes are a little bit different than blending brushes. Blending brushes are more to blend out your eyeshadow, to get more of the pigment spread out further. With shading brushes, these put down a lot more pigment than the regular blending brush. Now, the first 2 brushes that I'm going to talk about are from Sigma. These are the E27 and the E25. So the E25 is the blending brush, and then the E27 is the detail blending brush. Now, you're probably wondering what the hell the difference is, and the difference is the size of the brush. Hopefully this gives you a better idea. The one with the blue is the detail blending, the E27, and the one that is completely white is the E25, the blending brush. As you can see, for the E27, the one that is tinted blue is a lot less wide than the E25, and so I like to use these for initially the same thing, but to get into different areas. For the E25, which is the blending brush, this is the bigger brush of the 2, and for this one, I like to use for whenever I'm doing halo eyes, because whenever you do halo eyes, you have to put eyeshadow on the outer and the inner corners of your eye. Now, with this one, I like to use for the outer edges of my eye because it's a bigger brush. Now, for the E27, the detail blending brush, the smaller guy, I like to use this to get into my inner corner areas of my eye. Because the E25 is too big, look at that, it barely fits into my inner corner area without going all the way onto the hood of my eyes and like all the way up here. So I can't really get into the areas that I want in the inner part of my eye with the E25, but that's where the E27 comes in. This brush fits perfectly right here in the inner area of my eye, so I can really blend any kind of eyeshadow that I want in here, or whenever I'm doing a halo eye and I need to get into this area. So first I'm going to go in with the E25, and I'm just going to take a little bit of a darker shade here. I like to use this again on the outer edges of my eye because it is a more bigger brush. With blending brushes, you're putting down a lot more pigment, and it's going to give you the most opaque application for that eyeshadow. So I really like this because it's almost perfect, the shape and the size, just to get in this outer area here. Blending brushes are always more dispersed and spread out further, while the shading brushes are a lot more flat like this one. I can really just get into the hood of my eyes right here. I don't know if you guys can see like where I'm kind of pushing in. That is actually where my crease would be, is right here, and this brush just fits so perfectly into that area. So if I want to build up the pigment right here, I can do that just by taking the eyeshadow right on the tip of the brush. Here, I'm going to use a more darker color so I can show you guys. There's the eyeshadow right there. As you can see, it's more on the tip of the brush. And what I like to do is I like to take this and put this right where my crease would be, and look at that. All that pigment right there, just laid it down very nicely. And then I'm just going to slowly blend this out, kind of blending it downwards and a little bit upwards so it goes into that transition shade. Again, it's not always about the brush, because you could have a really nice brush like Sigma brushes, but you could have a really shitty eyeshadow and it's not going to blend very well. So there is a little bit of a give and take when you're using expensive brushes, because if you have a shitty eyeshadow, then no matter how expensive the brush is, the eyeshadow is never going to look good, but it will definitely give you an easier application. So that's why I don't feel like you have to spend too much on brushes, because the whole point of the brush is having very good application, because again, if the product's not good, you're gonna have great application, but the product's not going to turn out great. Hopefully that's making some sense. I didn't really know how else to word it, so I apologize. Also, if I turn the brush a little bit kind of like this way, I can fit it like right here on the outer edges, and it's just like the perfect hooded eye brush in my opinion. Now, I'm not trying to do any like super grand eye look or anything. I'm just doing this to show you guys what I use these brushes for and how I use them. Look at that. Oh, that blended so nicely. I do have a little bit of a patchiness here, but that's my eyelid because I'm having some dryness going on. I don't know what it is with the weather, you guys, but it has gotten cold again all of a sudden. We're like, it's like 53 outside right now, so it's a little bit chilly. It's been very windy and stormy the last couple days, and today is the only day that it's been sunny all fucking week. It's been windy and storming, and I haven't slept more than 3 hours a night because of that, so that's probably also another reason why I feel like complete shit. The order that I like to use these in is I like to use the bigger brush first to do this outer edge, and then for the E27, the detail blending, I like to use this for, like I said, the inner area of my eye and for whenever I want to put the eye look together. So basically the outer and the inner corner, I want to mesh these two together. I'm just going to take the Tati Beauty palette because I just love her shimmers in here, and I'm going to take the E27 and I'm just going to put the shimmer shade kind of here in the inner area of my lid, and I'm going to blend this out into the dark brown shade. It just gets so nicely into this inner area of my eye, which is really hard to get into with some of the other bigger brushes that I've actually bought. I have gone through so many different brushes by buying online and them being way too big for my eye space, and it's just really disappointing because you're so excited about getting a brush. You see it online, you love the shape, you love the style of the brush, you think the size is great because you see someone holding it, and then you get it in your hands and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, this isn't gonna fit in my eye area. It's too big. So I do prefer if I can see the brush first, but the world we're living in now, everything is just online, even just like foundation shade matching. Like, I can never fucking get that right. And it just really, really sucks. But that's what I'm doing this video for, so you guys can actually see kind of like the size and the shapes of these brushes. These two brushes have to be like my favorite brushes just because I use them in conjunction together. These are kind of like a pair for me. I never use one without the other, and I can't get enough of Sigma brushes, you guys. I'm going to be repeating throughout this entire video how nicely they blend and just how great they are with almost any kind of eyeshadow. Now I'm going to show you the more affordable options of those two, and these two are also from the BH Cosmetics Crystal Quartz set. I have the brushes 8 and 9. These to me are kind of essentially the same brush, except one has longer bristles than the other, but they're basically the same size and shape, if that makes sense. I have the number 8 here, which is the buffing blender, and then I have the number 9, which is the eye shader. I'm not exactly sure how this is a blending brush because, again, they're really like the same size, and the blending brush here is a lot more flatter than any of the other blending brushes that I have. Again, one has longer bristles, this one with the pink tint here. This one has longer bristles than this one, but they're basically the same width, same shape, same everything. So I actually like to use the number 8 more than the number 9 because this one is a little bit more dense, and I never really use this brush or reach for it just because this one is easier to maneuver because the bristles are a little bit longer and it's a little bit more flimsier. So I'm gonna go in with the number 8. I don't have any dupe for the Sigma for the inner corner because I haven't found one. I haven't found a brush that's affordable that is the same as the E27 from the Sigma. So the number 8, which is the buffing blender, is the one that I use for the outer edges of my eyes here. Look at that. It is like the same exact quality and blend as the Sigma brush. Just for the sake of the video, I'm going to go in with the number 9, and I'm going to put that shimmer shade from the Textured Neutrals palette. This number 9 brush will get into like the inner corner areas of my eye, but I don't know why. I just really don't reach for this one. I reach for the Sigma one before I reach for this one just because I prefer that one a lot better. Also because that one actually fits into the inner corner of my area perfectly, so I don't really have to think about it when I'm blending. But with this one, I actually kind of have to concentrate on where I'm blending because I don't want to blend it too far, also because this is a lot more wider than the E27. Now, the one thing I noticed with BH Cosmetic brushes, I don't know if it's like the fiber that they use in these brushes, but these don't really pick up the shimmer shades as well as Sigma brushes do. As you can see, like none of these brushes are wet or anything, but on the Sigma brush side, you can see that the shimmer is a lot more shinier and shimmerier than the BH Cosmetic ones. And one thing that I notice whenever I use a BH Cosmetic brush and I want more of a pop to my shimmer, I do have to wet the brush first. So if you are using BH Cosmetic brushes and you want your shimmer to pop a little bit more, I would definitely advise wetting them first before you go in with them. Now we're gonna go in with the under eyes. Now for the under eyes, I love to use smudge brushes. Smudge brushes are like my ultimate favorite type of brushes. I don't know why, but I just love the way that they fit in my under eye area, like my lash line, and I just can't get enough of smudge brushes. So whenever I see a smudge brush, I like just gravitate towards it and just want to buy it immediately. But then I'm like, no, I kind of have a lot of smudge brushes. But there are two initial smudge brushes that I just love and I cannot stop using. The first one is the Sonia Kashuk smudge brush. Now this is from the same line as the blending crease brush that I showed you guys earlier. I believe this is one of the cheaper lines inside Sonia Kashuk, which is probably why I got it, because again, I'm a cheap bitch. But I love this smudge brush so much. It is very dense, it's very packed in there, and this smudge brush just fits so nicely under my eyes. For this, I like to just go right up against my lower lash line and basically just do a really tight back and forth method. I don't like to like do this. I like to build little by little. Also, I like smudge brushes for if I want to get like more of a deeper, darker shade or pigment right here on the lash line. So I'm going to take a little bit more of a darker shade in here, and I'm just going to smudge like the top lash line. I don't think I mentioned the price of this, but this retails for $4. For me, for a smudge brush, that's great. Anything that's below like $5 for a brush to me is basically amazing. This brush seriously makes like application of eyeshadow on the under eye so easy. It's almost goof proof. Like you really can't fuck up with a smudge brush underneath the eye. Whenever I do like a smoky eye or more of a blown out like lower lash line, I don't like taking brushes kind of like the shading brush like this. I see a lot of YouTubers and people on Instagram do it. I just don't have that much space under my eyes, just like on the top of my eyes. I don't have a lot of space down here. So whenever I use like a blending brush to kind of blend and smoke out the bottom, it makes me look like I got punched in the face. Like I have bruises. So I don't like taking brushes like this that have a fluffier tip to blend out the lower lash line. It just doesn't work for me, and it's just not a cute look for me to look like I got beat in the face. So I just really prefer smudge brushes for these kind of applications. Now for the even more affordable option, yes, there are more affordable options than a $4 smudge brush. I have the e.l.f. smudge brush. Now this is like from their original line, like the first kind of brushes that they came out with. This brush retails for $2. If you have two $1 bills, you can get this brush. And I think that is the greatest thing about e.l.f. is that all of their stuff is so affordable. This is actually the first smudge brush that I got, and I love it so much. I've had this thing for years and I just cannot stop using it. Now these you can only find at Target. You can find them at Walmart sometimes, and I believe you can still get these off of the e.l.f. website. It does the same thing as the Sonia Kashuk one, but it's not as thick as the Sonia Kashuk one. Hopefully you guys can see that when I'm holding it on its side. Look at that. The Sonia Kashuk one is a lot more wide, and this one is a lot more thin. So this one I actually like to use to put pigment or eyeshadow on my lash line if I'm going to do that step. With this one, it's going to give you a more tighter smudge because again, it's not as wide as the Sonia Kashuk one. So I'm gonna have to blend a little bit lower just to kind of give it the same effect as this side over here. Now I really like e.l.f. brushes because a lot of the ones that I found actually fit my eye like size. but I don't really like the feel of e.l.f. shading brushes and blending brushes. I just feel like they're a little too cheapy. Like the fibers are a little too cheapy for me. But this one is like extremely soft. It doesn't feel like I'm poking plastic underneath my eyes. I don't know if anyone has ever felt a really cheapy, plasticky brush, but that shit actually hurts. Like it actually feels like you're exfoliating your face. Sometimes it can even feel like you're scratching your like eye area whenever you're using those kind of brushes. Now I kind of try to stay away from those plastic feeling brushes because whenever you use them and they feel like really scratchy on your eyes or your skin, you're creating little micro scratches on your skin, and that's very, very damaging. So you want to stay away from those really, really cheapy brushes if you can. There is the e.l.f. side, and it is just, it's so nice. It's so nice. For $2 freaking, like I can't understand how a $2 freaking brush can perform this good. When I first bought it, like I said, it's my first smudge brush. I was not expecting it to be like really soft because a lot of smudge brushes that I have tried, they are very scratchy, or the fibers are, or the bristles are different lengths, and you can really feel that. With the smudge brush, you kind of want everything to be essentially the same length, same size. So when you touch it, it's all equal lengths. Whenever you have fibers that are like this or bristles that are kind of like jaggedy and sticking out, that's where you get like that scratchy feeling, and nobody likes that on their face. The eye area is the most sensitive area, sensitive skin on your face. And so you really have to be careful with the tools that you use, and you don't want to use anything too cheaply feeling. I can't say cheap because their prices might be cheap, but their quality is a lot better. So I should say try to stay away from more lower quality bristled brushes. The next brush that I'm going to be talking about is a brush that I use to stamp on eyeshadow onto my actual lash line / waterline. I know a lot of people may find this very cringy, very weird, very uncomfortable, but if you're someone who is not very sensitive in the waterline, then you probably do this yourself. I am one of those people. I just don't have sensitivity to really anything. I feel like my entire skin, my body is just, I'm just one big golem, like one big rock. Nothing seems to phase just what's going on with me, except everything kind of does phase me. I don't know. I'm always like in some kind of pain or trouble, or something with my body is always going on. But things like product on my face or around my eyes, I just don't really get irritated or anything like that. But I digress. The next brush I'm going to be talking about is from the BH Crystal Quartz set. This is the brush 11. This is a flat liner brush. Now with this, again, I like to press on my eyeshadow either onto my waterline or on my lash line. It's just something that doesn't bother me, so I do it. So I'm gonna scoot a little bit closer to the camera so you guys can see like what I'm trying to do here, what I'm trying to show you guys. Now I'm just gonna take the dark gray shade here in the palette, and I am just going to stamp that onto my lash line. I don't even like really move the brush that much because I want the pigment all in one place. Not buff, but stamp, like little by little. While you're stamping, you kind of do like this bing mark, like this little boop. So I like to stamp and lift basically. And I like to do this on my lash line. Now I'm not going to do it on my waterline today just because I don't really want anything in my waterline right now. But I like to do this right on my lash line. And if you're not sensitive to that, then I totally recommend this brush because it's not scratchy like I was talking about earlier with some cheapy brushes. And with this brush, it doesn't feel like that at all. I don't feel like I'm scratching my lash line or my waterline. And that's why I really like these BH Cosmetic brushes, because they just feel really, really nice quality and they don't have that scratchy, weird feel to them. I know there's a lot of people who have never used BH Cosmetics and they look at them and they're like, oh, it's just another one of those sets that you can get on like AliExpress for like 12 bucks. No, bitch. The BH Cosmetic brushes are very nice quality. And so if you're looking for very nice brushes or a nice brush set, definitely check out BH Cosmetics. No, I'm not like affiliated or anything with them. I just genuinely love BH Cosmetic products and their brushes. If you're someone who likes Morphe, then you're gonna love BH Cosmetics. I don't use Morphe because they're not cruelty-free in my eyes. If you use any kind of natural animal hair on your brushes, you're not fucking cruelty-free, because how are you getting those hairs? A lot of people think that Morphe is cruelty-free. Their products may be cruelty-free, like their makeup, but you can't be considered cruelty-free in my eyes if you're using animal hair on anything. Lashes, brushes, anything that has to do with hair. If you look at some of my older videos, you will see that I use Morphe products. I had Morphe eyeshadow, I had Morphe brushes, all that kind of stuff, but I do not use them anymore because I found out that they still use animal hair in their products. And I'm sorry, but unless you're sitting there and you know for a fact that they're not killing these animals just for the hair for the brushes, then you don't really essentially know where they're coming from. So I got that nice and stamped out, and I just, I love this brush so much. Like, it's just such a good versatile brush. There are so many things that I have used this brush for. I've used it for my brows. I've used it to just kind of like smudge out the top whenever I do like a black eyeliner and I want it smudged and smoky. I use this for my lash line. I use it for my waterline. I even sometimes use this as a smudge brush, like what I showed you guys earlier with the e.l.f. and the Sonia Kashuk. We're almost to the end here. Just keep your seatbelts on because we are getting there. The next two brushes I'm going to be sharing with you guys are inner corner brushes. Now, I know people are probably thinking, why the hell do you need an inner corner brush? Well, bitch, I have small area space, okay? Like, I have small area or in my eyes, around my eyes, on my lids, so I need certain types of brushes that are small enough to get into these really teeny tiny areas on my eyes. So the first brush is the number 10 from BH Cosmetics. This is also from the Crystal Quartz set. This is actually a pencil brush, but this is the only thing that actually fits in my inner corner without going too crazy with like the shimmers and you know, kind of blowing out the shimmer, because I don't like too much shimmer in my inner corner. I mean, I do like a lot of shimmer, but I like it concentrated on one area. A lot of the time, people have like a very deep set inner corner. I don't really have one of those. I'm gonna scoot a little closer so you guys can see, but if you look, my inner corner does not go in like that. Like, a lot of people's inner corner go in like that, so they can do all kinds of crazy like eyeliner looks where they bring the eyeliner down and do a little triangle thing. I can't do that because look at this. I don't have, there's a little flap there. So if I wanted to connect the eyeliner, I really can't because it's going to be a weird shape. Now, if my inner corner was stretched out like this, like most normal people, I would be able to do that little cool cat eye, like elongated eye look. But that's why I just don't do them, because I really can't. I can't do it without it looking some type of way that I just don't like. For this, it's like any other brush you would use for the inner corner. I'm just going to take a shimmer shade from the Tati Beauty palette and just place this into my inner corner. Now, again, I like this because I can really concentrate on where I want the inner corner highlight. Like I showed you earlier, that little flap of skin that I have, it's kind of like a C shape, and that's where I like to put my inner corner highlight. I don't like to put it all the way here up against my nose or the bridge of my nose. I like to keep it concentrated on this little C flab of skin I have here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's where I like to put my inner corner like shimmer. Another thing I like to do with this pencil brush is I'll take a shimmer shade, and if I have some space down here and I want to add a little bit of shimmer to kind of open up my eyes, that's where I'll go in with the pencil brush and go a little bit towards my tear duct area, add some shimmer. I also like to use this pencil brush for some brow highlight because it's really, really good to get in there into like the shapes of your brows. So I really, really love this just basically for any kind of highlighting on the eye area. So the inner corner, the lower lash line, the brow bone. The other brush that I like to use for the inner corner or for everything that I just showed you is the e.l.f. concealer brush. I know, it's a concealer brush. This retails for $2, the same as a smudge brush. If you want a poppin' bangin' inner corner highlight, you need to get this brush because it's so packed and dense and flat that it really picks up a nice amount of pigment or the shimmer shade that you want to put in your inner corner, and it just places it so nicely to where it looks like you almost wet the brush, but you didn't. It gets into that really tight C area that I was telling you guys about, that little flap of skin that I have. Oh, so nice. Look at that. I love this brush so much because it's just so precise. I love it. And it's so cheap, like $2 for a brush. I can't with that. All right, so I went ahead and added some mascara and some lip gloss so I wasn't looking all naked and just bare because I felt like I looked really weird and bare. But anyways, I can't believe I did that. I thought I was gonna have so much trouble with this video today because I'm having so much trouble getting the words out and just talking. Now, I wanted to share with you guys that you do not have to buy a $20 brush to get good blendability and good quality brushes, especially BH Cosmetics. That is a great example that you do not need to spend an arm and a leg on a brush set just because it's from some well-known brand name or something to get a good blend or to get a good brush that's long-lasting, that's sturdy, that does what it's supposed to do, where the fibers aren't falling out, it's not falling apart, the paint's not, you know, rubbing off, it doesn't have a weird smell. Like all the weird shit that you can come across with makeup brushes, these are just, they're just absolutely stunning. They perform well, they hold up nicely, they last a very long time. Now again, if you're someone that doesn't have hooded eyes, you can essentially use any brush out there on the market for your eyes. If you are someone who struggles from hooded eyes like me, then these brushes are going to be perfect for you to get into those nooks and crannies that the hood of our eyes create on our lids. And I just really hope that some of you guys who might be struggling with finding some eye brushes will find this video useful, and hopefully it'll help you find some brushes that you might have been looking for. There aren't very many videos out there that I have seen personally that talk about the issue with hooded eyes and finding makeup brushes for hooded eyes that are the right size, the right length, the right amount of fibers, the right bendability. Like all that stuff goes into consideration when you're buying a brush and you have hooded eyes, because again, if you're going to buy brushes that you can't see, you might end up with something like this that is just way too big for your eye space. So I really hope that this video helps some of you guys out there, because I know the fucking struggle and it has been real. All right, you guys, so that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. If you did, please hit a thumbs up and don't forget to click that big red button that says subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification so you know when I post my videos. And as always, if you have any tips, tricks, questions, comments, or if you simply want to talk shit, leave it on the comment section below, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.